everybody, and welcome back to the stream. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It means it's time for Jump Around, our weekly cardio class. Hi. I'm really hoping that you can't actually hear the extremely loud music coming from one of the nearby apartments. But if you can, I apologize. Hi everybody, welcome. It's it's Wednesday. It's another day. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be taking it real easy today. I may just do demonstrations of exercises and then let y'all take point on the class. My shoulder has been just acting up wildly over the last week. Crazy, right? I can't imagine what could have been happening to cause that. But anyway, I think that it's regardless of everything else happening in the world, it is a good reminder to me to take a rest week. We had a kick-ass Rocktober. And last week, despite all of its stresses, was also a really awesome week, sort of capstone to Rocktober, going back through those programs one last time, getting to really feel our improvement over the course of the month. And I always talk about how every 4 or 5 weeks you should program in a rest week. And I guess it's time for me to take my own damn advice. So I'm trying to take my own advice. It's really hard because I love doing class with you, but I also love not being in pain a ton. And think that it's important to model the behavior of not just trying to push through the pain because we think that we're supposed to. So yay. But other than that, it's lovely. It's been very wintry. It's warmer today certainly than it was Monday and Tuesday, and it's going to get back up to like the 50s, maybe the 60s by the end of the week, but it's still really, really nice to be moving into winter and have that colder weather, that snugglier weather. I love it for walks in particular. It's just so much more pleasant to be outside, because when you're outside and even if you're just walking, you're generating warmth through the activity. And so it's, I personally far prefer exercising in cooler weather, because then I'm not coming close to overheating. You start out colder, but as you go along, generally you warm up to a very comfortable temperature, unless you, like me, ran the Denver Rock and Roll Half Marathon last year on the windiest, coldest October, what was it, 19th, 20th, something like that. It was so cold, and it was howling winds the whole time. They literally had the space blankets when everybody got through the finish line, and I just walked around for a solid hour or two just holding the space blanket around me like a cape. So that was less pleasant, but barring crazy windy days, it is quite nice to go for walks in the winter, I think. And I hope you do too. Actually, I don't care. Maybe you don't like to walk. Fuck it. Doesn't matter. Find whatever activity you do enjoy doing. Hopefully it's this class if you're here on stream. Oh my goodness, my friends. Yeah. What I learned yesterday, in yesterday's perpetual motion class, is that I have gotten super used to having the same program week over week. So not only am I having the oh God, I have to actually plan out a new program, stress an hour before class, but my timings yesterday, we got everything done, but it took a little longer than it should have because I haven't been factoring in as much time to demonstrate things as I had been before Rocktober. So this is all just to say I apologize in advance if my timings are a little weird today too. I don't think they will be. I was a little more intelligent about what I put into the program, but we'll get through everything. It'll be an awesome class. I just may, start talking about something and then suddenly go, oh God, it's been 2 minutes. We need to actually demonstrate exercises now. So anyway, that's half of the fun of the Twitch class, right? Is that we can go off on little conversational tangents while we're in the middle of a good workout. Oh man. All right, my friends. Well, we do have to get going because I have some client work for some personal training clients to do not long after class. So let's do our pre-class checklist, shall we? We've got our water vessels, water bottles, whatever you're using. Make sure you're hydrating, man. Especially right now, we're bad at hydrating under normal circumstances. When we are all undergoing like collective stress and trauma, we become even worse at hydrating. So use my fitness mom voice as a way to remind yourself to keep hydrating, because it's important, not just when you're here, but throughout the day. And we're really bad at hydrating appropriately while we're exercising, and we're also really bad at post-exercise hydration. And these are both really incredibly important things to do. So keep that in mind, my friends. So we've got our water, we've got our comfy clothes on, we've got our mat or a mat-sized space on the floor. And if you're using a fitness wearable, go ahead and turn it on for high-intensity interval training. I'm going to turn mine on today, even though I'm not really doing class. It's going to be hilarious. I probably don't need to have it on, but, habit is a powerful thing. All right, and let's just jump in. Jump in. I'll see myself out. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's get started with our warm-up. Oh my God. Okay. What? All right, let's head on over. That thing is on. Yes, it is. So let's head over on our backs, on our mats. 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee. And as soon as we hear the horn, we will start doing our hip rocks and bridges. So if you're new to class, hey, hip rocks and bridges. So I'm here, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee, and my other leg, I've just got the foot flat on the floor, knee pointing up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to rock my hips up in the air, and then bring that foot down and come up onto the ball of the foot, and then bridge my hips up like this. And then bring them down, and then just repeat. So when you actually really get into the exercise, I don't have to be rocking my hips up particularly high. Like, we're not going for maximum height here, okay? Like, obviously, I could get all the way up here, sure, but this is a warm-up. We're supposed to be slowly getting ourselves prepared to exercise, okay? So I'm just going to be doing small, just enough so that as I lift the hips, all right, and we're going to switch feet and do the same thing on the other side. But what I'm really doing here, this is our first opportunity for some core engagement. So what I'm really doing to rock the hips up is I'm just engaging my core a little bit, okay? Core contracts, pulls the hips up into the air, and then we rock back down, foot flat on the floor, up on the ball, and we bridge up. So really, you just want to be able to feel that core engagement on the hip rock. And you can feel that when your hips are barely off the ground. I don't have to come all the way up there. I can just do that and go, oh yeah, hey, I feel that core going. And then same with the bridge, I can push that bridge all the way up here, but I really just want to go far enough that I'm feeling the engagement in my glutes and in my hip. All right, so now we have our leg sequence, starting with our Jane Fonda. So we are lying in a straight line on our side, and we are just lifting that top leg. So first of all, to stay in a straight line, a totally straight line, if you're not used to how that feels, if you're not fully in tune with where your limbs are in space, if you don't have that connection with your body yet, then use a line, a guide, like, say, the straight, long edge of your mat. Line yourself up along it and go, okay, all right, this is probably a straight line. And then as you lift, check in on where that leg is going. You know, we don't want it to be going forward. We don't want it to be pulling super back. You'll find if you just engage the glute on the working leg, that should keep it pulled in line with the rest of the body. All right, now, staying on this side, we're taking that top foot, putting it flat on the floor in front of that bottom knee, and now we are lifting the bottom leg, okay? So this is a position that is going to be more or less difficult depending on the flexibility that you already have in your hip. So my left hip is super flexible, so I could just sort of plot myself in this position. I don't really have to engage too much musculature to keep my knee pointing straight up at the ceiling and you know, in this nice safe position. We want to avoid our knees caving forward like this, and this is a great opportunity to work on that particular piece of form, because we're not putting any pressure on the leg, so it's not as critical, but it's a good opportunity for us to start seeing how that feels. All right, and now for the third exercise, we have that same foot now behind the bottom knee, still flat on the floor, still lifting the bottom leg. This is our easiest position right here, okay? We're not worrying about balance. We're not having to do the same muscle engagement in the hips to keep our knee up, so we're really stable right here. We're just lifting this leg, and you can really focus in on what are the muscle groups that I am using to generate this motion. Obviously, the inner thigh, but you'll also, if you really pay attention, you'll also start to feel some engagement in the lower abdominals on that working side. You'll also feel a little engagement in the glutes as well. So take this opportunity in this really low stakes position to just go, all right, when I do a particular motion, what are all the muscle groups that I can feel engaging? And that's how we start to learn more about how our body moves. All right, so now we do all three of those on the other side. So coming back to our Jane Fondas, another component of keeping this straight line, we want to make sure that our core is engaged so that our hips are not rocking back and forth, all right? Core engagement is going to keep us nicely balanced up on that hip and allow us to focus our attention on the working leg, okay? You also, you know, I have one hand just sort of in front of me just to stabilize me, and that helps. You know, I'm not expecting you to like put an arm up here and really try and actively balance, but the core is still doing a lot of work to prevent you from rocking all over the place. You want to keep that straight line, keep that leg actively working. All right, and now second side for this. So you see on this side, my right hip is not as flexible, so I immediately, if I just sort of set myself here, my knee is going to try and cave forward. So what do? I engage some of those muscles in my hip joint, and they pull the knee up. So now it's pointing up towards the ceiling. Now it's in that position. But I have to really actively engage those muscles right now. While I don't have that same level of flexibility, I have to compensate to keep my knee in that safe position, okay? And so that's just something that I know that I have to think about more on this side than on the first side. So get to know the differences in movement capabilities and strength capabilities of all of your limbs, because we are not symmetrical creatures. All right, we're doing our last leg. Again, back in this really low stakes position, just trying to focus in on what's engaging, what's moving. This is our last leg exercise. Then we're going to move into our active stretching sequence. That's going to really focus in on our backs and our hips in particular, which if y'all are working from home, sitting at a desk all day, or if you are someone who is working, you know, in a restaurant or a cafe and you're on your feet all day, you're not necessarily getting that hip movement, hip flexibility, back twist. And so they are going to appreciate this next section as you get to really loosen them up, get some movement going through them, and all of that fun stuff. So here we go. We start with our scorpion twists. So lying on our stomach, forearms planted on the ground, and we are just swinging one leg at a time back behind us. The aspirational position is foot flat on the floor, knee pointing up towards the ceiling. So that gives me a nice deep twist in my lower to mid back. But I don't want these elbows coming off the floor at all. They are glued to the floor. So if you come over here and you're like, oh, I can totally go this far, all I have to do is let my elbow come off the ground a little bit, then you are going farther than you have the flexibility for now. So make sure those elbows aren't moving. That may mean you can't twist as far as you want to be, but that's going to provide you a nice measuring stick to see how you improve, how your flexibility improves over time, all right? Now we are standing with our imaginary PVC pipe held over our heads. We're doing these nice big torso rotations. We're changing directions every couple of rotations so that we even ourselves out, and we are generating the movement, the circle, from the hips. So I'm keeping my arms here. I'm imagining that I'm holding just a small PVC pipe above my head, and I'm not trying to move the arms and then follow, or, you know, I'm not moving the arms at all. They're staying in the same place relative to my head. I am bending at the hips like this, coming down through this circle and then all the way back up. So I'm really feeling that nice hamstring stretch as I go down through the bottom part of that movement. All right, in almost the same position, but now we're doing squats. So I'm still holding that bar. It's still staying in the same place relative to my head the whole time. And this is our first opportunity to check in on the form that we were starting to think of with our knees during that leg sequence. So whenever we're doing these squats, we want our knees going straight over our feet. We don't want them caving in towards each other, okay? So you have to be able to maintain that for the whole thing. So if I can, maybe I can come down here, but if I can't stand up without my knees trying to push together, then I need to narrow my stance a little and practice in a stance that I can safely manage until I build up the strength to allow myself to widen the stance again. All right, now we've cast off those imaginary pipes, and now we are doing our Samson stretches. So this is a nice big lunge stretch to allow us to really get at the front of the hip flexor. So straight leg behind me, sinking into those hips. I reach my arms straight up above my head. So I'm not trying to reach behind myself. You can look up towards the hands, and there's automatically some bend in my back just because of the lunge position, but we're not trying to intensify it, okay? We're just taking that lunge and lifting our arms like that, keeping your hips pointing straight forward the whole time, okay? No opening up the hips. We're not doing a warrior two. So if you had headlamps on your pelvic bones, they'd be shining forward the whole time. Now we come down into this really wide turned out squat position, Hands on the knees, so our knees are getting a little assistance in staying over our feet, and we're just twisting one shoulder at a time in towards the midline. So here we're getting a twist into our upper back because we've already done lower and mid back. So we're holding this position, this squat. The only things moving are our shoulders, okay? So I'm not bouncing up and down out of the squat. I'm definitely not letting my knee follow in as I bring the shoulder in, okay? Everything else is held, and we're just twisting one shoulder at a time in towards the midline. Alrighty? Now, it's time for cardio. So we start with our baby jumping jacks. So we're not doing full-on intense jumping jacks, you know, straight arms, really wide stance. I'm keeping my elbows bent the whole time, just sort of touching my fingers above my head, letting the elbows come down as I jump the feet back in. So we are just starting the cardio process. This is the last segment of the warm-up. So we're continuing to ramp up and ramp up, turning on different systems in every section. So here is where we really dig in and tell our cardiovascular system, all right, hey, we are getting going. So our heart rate goes up a little bit, our breath starts to come a little faster, we're pumping oxygen through our bodies at a faster rate so that our muscles can break down fuel sources and give us the energy we need. So now coming to our kick throughs. And if you've never done kick through, it's a bit of a complex exercise. So I'm not keeping my hands and feet really far from each other. I am keeping them pretty close together, okay? So that my shoulders can be over my wrists. And then I'm gonna kick one leg across my body. The standing leg, knee is at a 90-degree angle and pointing up towards the ceiling. So again, not letting that knee cave forward. And then we switch sides. So we're just going back and forth every time. So you can see why you don't want to be really spread out, because then you're pushing back on your shoulders. Your shoulders are in a really unstable position, which is not what we want. It's hard to kick across. It's just bad form. All right, so last but not least, we have our burpees. Burpees, a classic exercise. We are jumping back and doing a wave push-up, keeping our elbows really close in to our sides, and then jump the feet forward and jump up and do a big victory clap up at the top. So no plank push-ups, no matter how much you want to. This is the most energy that we will be expending in the warm-up, but we're still not at 100%. We're just at the end of the warm-up, we're going, all right, I'm pumped up, my body has activated all the correct systems, and now it's ready to go through class. All right, huzzah, huzzah. It's really remarkable how even on the days when I really am just demonstrating, I still manage to work up a little bit of sweat. Hello, my dear. Here for a Wednesday workout. Huzzah. Excellent. Always good to see you in chat. Yay. All right. Water time, my friends. Oh my gosh, we're doing a new program. What's it gonna look like? Oh, that's nice. A day off workout. I am proud and pleased and honored that you have chosen me for your workout, buddy. I hope it was a good day off. I think we all could use good days off right now. All right. So, what are we doing now that we've totally changed up our programs? Well, First thing we're going to do is a guided AMRAP set. So if you've done CrossFit, you've heard the term AMRAP, which stands for as many reps as possible. I use it in slightly different contexts in this class. What our guided AMRAP set means is that I will have a timer going for 5 minutes. We're gonna have 3 exercises and an active rest exercise. And I'm gonna basically be Simon Says-ing you through the set. So I will tell you when to switch from exercise to exercise. You're moving the whole time, no rests. And we do that for 5 minutes. So our first exercise, something that we have not done in a while, side to side mat jumps. And dear God, the secret of every streamer and YouTuber, I think, is that just outside of the frame is uncontrolled chaos. So I'm going to attempt to not run into the pile of sweatshirts that I have just out of view. So side to side mat jumps. If I start, say, on my left hand side of my mat, I'm gonna step with my left foot forward, right foot crossed behind me, all of my weight's on this front foot, and I'm going to just jump, try and clear the entire length of my mat, and we're just going to go back and forth. You can bring a hand down just for balance, not to put pressure on, but just tap, tap. See? Man, spatial awareness, my friends, really important in living room workouts. All right, so side to side mat jumps. Then we'll have TikToks, which are balancing up on our torso, or on our tailbones, our arms straight, hands together, extending out just far enough that we can bring the arms to the other side, and then up, 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 etc., etc. And then our third exercise is going to be push-ups to a downward dog. So for these push-ups, you can do any of the variants that we usually do. So you can do plank, you can do from the knees, you can plank down, wave up, wave down, plank up. You can do a full wave, but whichever one you choose, after the push-up, push back into a downward dog, back to the plank, down, up, push, plank, down, up, push, plank. Okay? So those are our 3. Side to side mat jumps, TikToks, and push up to a downward dog. So everybody on your mats, and our active rest is going to be cross jacks. So our usual active rest from our Tuesday class. So get ready, get set, and start doing your cross jacks, please. Just nice, relaxed cross jacks. While I clean my glasses, we're chill, we're grooving. And now start doing side to side mat jumps, my friends. So we are, again, really focusing on spatial awareness. We're in our living rooms. They are not spaces that are designed for exercise. So frequently, we don't have a ton of space around us. So it's always important to be aware of what's around us, even when we are in exercise spaces, but it's particularly important here. All right, back to those cross jacks, please. Cross jacks really quickly, just as a quick turning point. And now I'm gonna have you get down and do those push-ups with the downward dog. Push-ups with the downward dog, my friends. All right, and this is a cardio day, so I want you to push yourself for a little bit of extra speed. I want you to see what power you have. If you've been doing Rocktober with me, if you did Rocktober with me last month, then I am betting that you have got a lot of new power, a lot of new stamina to work with, and I want you to bust that out today. All right, TikToks. Now time for TikToks. So we're getting up on our tailbones, and we are, again, we can go for pretty good speed here. Up and up and up and up. Remember, ab exercises it can be really easy to try and compensate with other muscles. Make sure the lower abdominals are what are pulling you back up to this balance position. All right, back up, cross jacks, please, cross jacks. So we are doing our active rest exercise. This is an opportunity to bring our heart rates down just a little bit, but to keep your cardiovascular system ready for more movement, I guess, essentially. All right, back to those push-ups, my friends. Back to those push-ups. Bet you didn't see that kind. We are going to be scrambling all over the place, and this is a never-ending series of movements until I holler at you that the timer is done. So make sure that you are moving from one exercise to the next as quickly as possible. All right, up for those side-to-side mat jumps, side-to-side mat jumps. All right, going back and forth, really wanting to cross the entire length of your mat, okay? So we're going for power and speed, and it's one-legged power because I'm really generating that jump with that front leg alone. I'm trying to not push off the back leg as much as possible. All right, now back down to TikToks, please, TikToks. All righty, so we're really focusing in. We're giving our core a nice workout. Y'all know how much I love these core exercises, and they are crucial. I took a CEU quiz a couple weeks ago that was talking about, it was working off of a talk somebody gave at a conference about all the research that continues to come out about how important the core is for stabilizing, for generating rotational movement, all of this stuff, and it really bore up what I've been saying to you. All right, back to side mat jumps, my friends. Side mat jumps, please. Yeah, that's right. We're just sort of bouncing all around, a little bit. Where will she go next? Well, push-ups to a downward dog. Push-ups to a downward dog. Come on, little timer. Pay attention to me. All right, we are in our final minute, my friends, so really dig in. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure you're moving that oxygen through your body. All right, and we are going to hop up and do some cross jacks really quickly. Just prep ourselves, okay? Because in about 5 seconds or so, we are going to start doing side-to-side mat jumps right now. Side-to-side mat jumps, and that's what's going to take us home. All right, so I want you to really go for power. I want you to go for distance. You're really trying to clear to each side of the mat. Each time you do that jump, you got 10 seconds to go. So really try and fit as many of those jumps in as possible, touching the hand down only for balance, and you're done. Good job. Good job, everybody. Now, water time. All right, just because I'm not pushing as hard as I usually do does not mean I'm not going to still be hydrating along with all of you. Besides, I'm chattering like an auctioneer, so I definitely need the water. All right. Nice. Yeah, well, it's a good thing that you're working out at home. It's like my kitchen's right over there. It is definitely one of the nice conveniences of working out at home. It's just being like everything that I need, from my own shower and towels and bath products to every vessel under the sun that can possibly hold water, is right within my reach. So we're finding all the silver linings we can. And you know what? Working at home, super convenient. It means that we don't have to, really get caught up in the, I don't have the perfect setup brain space. Because it's like, do I have my mat? Then I've got the perfect setup. All right, my loves. We are now going to do a cardio Tabata. So that's going to be our 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. We're going to go 8 times through with just one exercise. And that exercise is going to be kick-throughs but with a wave push-up in between, okay? So you are going to kick here, jump to a plank in the middle, do that wave push-up, and then jump to kicking on the other side. And so each time that you're going to switch sides, you stop in the middle and do a wave push-up as if we're, so it's basically combining the kick through and the burpee, because I'm sure that combining those two exercises is something that you've all been clamoring for. And you know, I'm here to give the people what they want. All right, so kick through with a wave. We are gonna do it 8 times through, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, which means that we have a lot of time to really push ourselves for speed and power. However, what I said in the warm-up about kick-throughs still applies. Start now. If you're still new to them, or if you still are struggling to fit all of the components together, totally understandable. Focus on form first, all right? So do not tell yourself, oh, well, I have to push for speed because it's cardio day, and that's what Blanche told me. Form first. Form before basically anything else that I tell you, all right? I want you to have that solid foundation so that you can build up your performance as safely as possible, because as someone who's trying to rest their shoulder right now, I can tell you chronic injuries suck, all right? So yeah, if you really need to be just going, okay, so I kick over here, and then I jump to that plank, do the push-up, and then I kick to the other side. If you need to go that slowly to really pull all of those pieces together, that's fine. And then as you get more comfortable, you'll notice yourself being able to add a little bit more speed in, but don't ever worry about slowing things down because you're still trying to really grasp the form, all right? I won't always say that out loud, but I want you to always know that it's true, okay? You know, teachers can get really caught up in wanting to jazz people up and really encourage them to, you know, ramp up their performance and all of that stuff. And it's important. It's an important component of my job. But I also always want you to know, and I try to say this as much as possible, that the foundational stuff is the most important place to start. I would rather that you do 2 kick through with waves perfectly in those 20 seconds than give me 20 of them done incorrectly and in a way that's going to set you up for an injury. All right? Oh man, we are well more than halfway through, my friends. We are on our 6th time through, which means, counting this one, we only have 3 more repetitions to go of this lovely weird exercise. So in case you haven't been thinking about form the entire time that I've been talking at you about form, check in on your form. One of the things that we want to really dig into as we do these types of cardio sets where we are pushing ourselves for more speed and more power, we want to make sure that our form is just as good on round 8 as it was in round 1, okay? And we want to make sure that our form maintains the whole time. So always do that quick check, you know, especially as you start to feel yourself getting a little more fatigued. That's when we start defaulting to whatever version of the exercise we have trained into our subconscious processing, which is another reason why we focus so much on form, okay? Because when you're starting to get fatigued and you're starting to struggle with being able to pay attention consciously to that form, I want your body to just know what it's doing, all right? That is my goal for you. All right, good job, my friends. Feeling the blood pumping, feeling the heart going a little bit. Oh yes, kick-throughs, my old nemesis. Most of that conversation was for you because I know that kick-throughs are one of your nemesis exercises. But you know, we keep working even on our nemesis exercises, and then one day we start doing them and we realize that they've gotten a lot easier somehow, and it's really exciting. And sometimes that day does not come until several years down the line, as it did for me. So please just keep in mind, none of this is a fast process. You know, all this takes time. We're building over and over again. We're building on our previous performance, and it's amazing, but sometimes it's hard to notice all of the individual improvements until so many of them have happened that it feels like just we woke up one day and suddenly we're able to do all this stuff that we couldn't do before. See? You're already improving. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now drinking some water. All right. So now we're going to do another AMRAP set, my friends. Same active rest exercise, and our 3 exercises this time. We're going to do turtle planks. So anything with a turtle means first we roll up onto the shoulders, then up onto the feet. Now we're going to plant our hands and jump back into a plank, and then jump our feet forward and repeat. Try to really focus on, and it's hard when we're moving so much, but you really want to try and hit that nice solid plank position, all right? Shoulders directly over wrists, butts out of the air, not sagging down, so my core is engaged, and just really beautiful tabletop position. Then our second exercise is going to be side-to-side superheroes, which we have not done in so long. So we're going to lie on our side on the edge of the mat facing out and lift our arms and our legs off of the mat. Then I'm going to roll over my back, still with my arms and legs lifted, so this is where the core engagement comes in, and then up on the other side. And we're just going to go back and forth and back and forth. You do not have to stay in a straight line when you roll up on that hip. In fact, you will struggle doing this exercise if you try to. I generally create like a U shape. So when I roll up onto this hip, I am actively letting my legs come behind me a little bit and letting my arms come behind me a little bit, and that helps to maintain the balance. And then our third exercise is what? Oh gosh, frog jumps. Dang, Blanche. Frog jumps. So, oh joy, we start down here, very low squat position, okay? My feet are turned out, my knees are still directly over my feet, and jump, down, jump, down, jump, down, etc., etc., and so forth. All right, so everybody on your mats, and remember, I am guiding us through this, so you switch exercises when I tell you to. So when I yell, let's start with turtle planks. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. So let's start with turtle planks. We are not starting with our active rest exercise. We're starting with those turtle planks. So we are really kicking ourselves off really quickly, making sure that we are going for that nice strong plank position. Again, it's not a wave push-up, so don't let your hips sag down towards the floor. It's a plank, okay? All right, doing good. And now give me some frog jumps, please. Give me some frog jumps. I know, I'm just changing the order all around. I gotta keep you on your toes. We've been coasting in this really nice equilibrium of having the same program week over week for a while now. And now it's time to just throw all sorts of wild and wacky things your way, okay? So you're doing your frog jumps, making sure that your knees are still safely positioned, and now Give me some side-to-side superheroes, my friends. Side-to-side superheroes. You may have to do these on the floor rather than on your mat. I end up having a really frustrating time with them on my current setup because my puzzle pieces are like an inch or two thick, which is really nice for most things, but they're not wide enough for me to do the side-to-side superheroes without constantly rolling off the side of the mat, which is really annoying. So I feel ya if you're having that experience. All right, up and do some cross jacks, please. Let's just try and take down the intensity a little bit. We're cross-jacking here. We're chilling. We're bringing the heart rate down just a little bit. And now I want you to do some frog jumps, all right? So now we're going right into those frog jumps. Oh my God, my poor shoulder. I need to call my chiropractor. Whew. Fun times, my friends. Yeah, anyone with chronic injuries, you probably have the same experience I do, which is anytime that you are stressed out or otherwise really emotional, the thing starts flaring up. And yeah, my shoulder is not giving me a lot of rest for the last week. All right, side-to-side superheroes. Side-to-side superheroes, my friends. So awkwardly clambering down onto the floor, rolling from side to side. Remember, you're rolling over your back, not over your stomach. Okay, I've seen that happen in my classes before, but it's by rolling over our stomachs that we keep the core engagement of keeping the legs and arms lifted off of the floor, okay? So make sure you are not obstructing your abdominals. Now give me some cross jacks, please. Cross jacks again, hopping up onto our feet, taking it a little bit easy. Make sure that you're crossing the feet, one in front of the other, crossing one hand on top of the other, and switching it up each time. All right, turtle planks, please. Give me some turtle planks. Jumping down there. Again, checking in. You want to make sure that your shoulders are strong and stable through this, okay? Our shoulders are our most unstable joint. And usually that serves us well because we want that flexibility of motion. But for something like this, we don't want this ball and socket joint going anywhere that we don't expect it to. All right, so nice, strong, stable shoulders. Now give me some side-to-side superheroes. All right, there we go. There we go. We're just getting a little bit more core engagement in here. Really checking in. How are those abdominals doing? And now give me some cross jacks. Let's go back to cross jacks, please. All right. We're gonna bring the heart rate down before we go into our final countdown. We are in the final minute of this sequence. So now I want you to give me those frog jumps again. Frog jumps, all right. Really powerful. Trying not to let your back round over as you hit the floor. So up, and down. I'm keeping a flat back, all right? I'm trying to not let myself go. Core engagement, gonna be really useful for that. All right, but now we are heading into our last 30 seconds. Give me turtle planks to the end. Turtle planks to the end of this timer. All right, so powerful, strong shoulders that are controlling your feet as they jump back into that plank position, and then controlling them again as they jump forward, getting that nice momentum as we roll up on our shoulders and then directly onto our feet, trying not to have to push ourselves up. We're so close. 2, 1, and stop. All right. Good job, everybody. Holy crow. Yeah, that's something to keep in mind, okay? So Amanda's comment about her mat going everywhere because of the pile on her carpet causes it to shift around. So again, we talk about spatial awareness, and we talk about working out in spaces that are not necessarily designed for it. And so you need to have a thorough, bone deep understanding of the space that you're in. You need to know what the possible shifts are under your feet. When I land, do I expect to land on something solid like this wood floor, Or do I expect to land on something that might pull apart, like these puzzle pieces, or push around, like this yoga mat? And that is a huge component of this, you know? And that is one of the best things that we can do for ourselves to prevent injury, because when we land on a surface and it goes, our foot goes in a direction that we just were not expecting, then we may not be able to compensate quickly enough, and then we end up injuring ourselves. Even when we have that knowledge, we may end up injuring ourselves. But you know, I have enough awareness of my setup, of the ways that it's stable and the ways that it shifts around, that when I'm in the middle of, you know, doing burpees and those puzzle pieces are pulling apart and I'm jumping back into the plank and my feet are sort of pulling a little bit, I can adjust, I can compensate for that because I have that spatial understanding of the surface. And so it's moving in a direction I don't want it to be moving, but I at least understand why it's moving that way, what's causing the motion, and I can compensate in a safe way. So be really deliberate in how you set up your space, okay? Pay attention. You want to have that understanding of all of the components, starting from the ground up, starting with what is the floor that I am on? What are the pros? What are the cons? I could just be working out on this, you know, wood laminate floor, but it's not ideal for softness in terms of bones. Like I used to get a lot of real bad bruising along my spine until I got the puzzle pieces added in because of the hardness of this floor. Some surfaces are also better or worse for your joints. We do a lot of jumping. This is cardio. That's why I have the puzzle pieces. They are nice and thick. They soften the blow, especially if any part of the foundational flooring that you're on is concrete, which is the literal worst for your joints. You want to make sure that you have something to soften the blow, something of a nice thickness to soften that blow, okay? Not blow, but you know what I mean. All right, cardio tabata, my friends. Same as before, except the exercise this time will be star jumps. So we've done a lot of flying chickens over the last month. Star jumps is the same thing, except different arms. So the easiest version, just holding our arms here and just sort of letting the elbows bounce up and down. If you want to do slightly more intense version, you can bring the hands to meet over your head and bring the elbows down to your sides. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It just means that you have to move your arms through more of the space. So you have to compensate, add a little additional power. The biggest version of this that I've learned, you can do straight arms, meet above your head, and slap down to your thighs at the bottom. I don't do that one because it's really hard on my shoulder. But if you don't have shoulder issues and you want even more intensity, you can do that version where they come up and meet above your head and then slap down to your sides. All right? Okay, my loves. So onto your mats. We're doing star jumps because we are fabulous. So let me get that timer going. Remember, the first sound does not mean go. The first sound means stop, rest, relax, breathe, and then we hear knock, knock, knock right there. And that means get ready, get in position. So the second you hear that horn go, you are immediately moving, okay? So what are the tenets, the 3 tenets of the bare minimum for this class? 1, starting on time. 2, stopping on time. And 3, doing the exercise correctly. I've already talked about form, but starting and stopping on time are also really important. It's really important discipline to build in to your exercise, okay? So when we talk about that for tabatas, we're talking about As soon as I hear that starting horn, I am moving. I am not waiting until the end of the horn. I'm not sort of sitting around and going, oh crap, the horn went, I've got to start jumping. I am going as soon as I hear it, and I don't stop until I hear that horn, okay? So that is a discipline we really want to try and build up as much as you can, okay? With other types of timers, we have different criteria for what counts as starting and stopping on time. For our perpetual motion timers or the AMRAP timers today, starting on time means minimizing the amount of transition time between the exercise you're currently doing and the exercise that you are moving into, okay? So from that perspective, it's a little more involved because you need to have an understanding of, okay, what is the exercise I'm currently doing? What are the possible ending positions I might find myself in when the horn goes or when Blanche says to switch to the next exercise? What is the next exercise? Does it involve a plane shift where I have to stand or sit down? Does it involve, if I'm up here, does the next exercise involve me spinning myself around? And just having that understanding and having those routes mapped out so that I can get from one to the next as quickly and easily as possible, okay? So if you're new to class or if you haven't been able to do class in a while and you're just coming back to it, all I ask is the bare minimum. That is all you need to focus on. And if you just focus on those 3 things, you will get a great workout. And you will get a workout that hopefully will be one that you want to repeat, because the easiest thing for us to do, we start a new class and we get in there and we're like, okay, well, I really want to impress, the nebulous them. Maybe them is, I want to impress the teacher, or I want to impress all of my fellow students or something like that. And so we do a new class and we, put in 120% energy, and then we're miserable for the next week, and we're like, well, that was torture. I'm never coming back to that again, okay? And that defeats the purpose of trying to build up an exercise practice. So 1 class is a trauma, 2 or more is a habit. But in order to move through that first class, we want it to not be traumatic. So bare minimum. If you're still new, if you're still within the first few weeks of starting class, all I'm looking for is starting on time, stopping on time, doing the exercise correctly. And then as you get settled, as you feel more confident in the form, as you feel more confident in the structure of class as a whole, then you get to start really digging in and going, all right, what do I want to improve? What do I want to work on next? Woohoo! Look at us go, my friends. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, sitting ourselves down. Yeah, see, I told you that I was struggling with my timings. I just keep going on these tangents. It's okay. It's been a while since I've done a really heavy-duty instructional class because we got into such a rhythm with Rocktober. And, it's good for me as a teacher, too, to sort of step back in some of these classes and focus a little bit more on the fundamentals. Talk a little bit more about the form, what we're doing, why we're doing it, what we should be thinking about. So it's actually kind of fun. Oh, my calves will tell me about this tomorrow. Yeah. I'm not even sure what exercise you were doing. I can think of about a dozen of them that could be referring to. But yes, I am sure that your calves will politely make themselves known. Yeah, the star jumps will definitely do it. I frequently feel them a little more in my shins, but same area. All right, my friends, we're going to do one more guided AMRAP, and there's only going to be 2 exercises this time. Crazy, I know. And the active rest exercise. So 3, I guess. So the active rest is still going to be cross jacks. And then our 2 other exercises, we're going to do squats with a knee raise. So taking our feet around shoulder width apart, squatting down, nice safe, correct form. And then as I stand, I'm standing up to on one foot, and I'm bringing that other knee up. Balance, squat and up, squat and up, squat and up. So we want to go for a nice rhythm here, but we also want to make sure that we have the form in place so that we're not coming up here and going, oh God, you know, falling all over ourselves, okay? So tread that line. Maybe your balance is feeling really firm today, and so you can really go for nice speed. Maybe you're feeling a little bit wobbly, in which case, all right, I'm gonna concentrate and make sure that I know where I am. And then the other exercise is gonna be jumping jacks, full jumping jacks, okay? So we want as big arms as you can manage. I, again, because of my shoulder stuff, generally will still keep a bit of a bend in my elbows. And it's just a little easier on my shoulders, but you know, we've all done jumping jacks and PE classes past, so I trust you to know. All right, nope, not that timer. So our 2 exercises, squats with a knee raise and jumping jacks, and cross jacks as our active rest. So nope, that's not where I want to be either. All right, let's start with those cross jacks. Here we go, cross jacks. We're getting ourselves just going a little bit, you know, keeping our heart rate moving, pumping that blood through our body. And now let's start doing the jumping jack. So take it to a full-on jumping jack. So this is an opportunity for us to compare the cross jack and the jumping jack, which are, I suppose, cousins, I guess I would call them, in this particular fitness realm. So we're doing nice big jumping jacks, not our warm-up style. We are really going for a little extra power, speed, stamina. And now go right into the squats with the knee raise. Squats with the knee raise for me, okay? I want some nice power there. I want you to be at, if your balance allows it today, really trying to go for speed while also making sure that every time you squat, those knees are going safely over the feet. Every time you stand, you've got that core engagement that protects your balance and allows you to not wobble around a lot. Alrighty. All right, back to those jumping jacks. Jumping jacks, please, my friends. This is a new thing. I've never done this with 2 exercises, and I am interested. I think I prefer it with 3. It's just a little bit more to work from, but you know, we can work with this. This is still good. You're still doing some good work, my friends. All right, so take the jumping jacks down to cross jacks now. Cross jacks. So we're back here and we're moving. We are definitely not trying to slow down too much, but you also want to build the ability to bring your heart rate and bring your breathing more under control on these active rest exercises, on anything that's a little bit stiller, more contained. All right, give me those squat to knee raises now. Squat to knee raises, please. Yeah. Remember the power of dramatic breathing. So you're alone in your living room. You can breathe as loud as you want. If that helps you to really get up into the position, find that balance, helps you to get that power that you need to really push yourself up from the squat, go for it. Dramatic breathing, I love it. And it's something that what you notice in gym settings is that assigned male at birth folks are generally have no trouble with being real loud and out there with their breathing. And assigned female at birth folks frequently are a lot more contained, a lot quieter. So just really think about not worrying about anyone else and just really dramatizing that breathing. All right, cross jacks, please. Cross jacks. Give me some cross jacks. Oh man, we are moving right along. This is intense. This is a lot. This is a lot of focus on just these two exercises and our active rest. All right, now go back into the jumping jacks for me, our full-on jumping jacks. And again, we're focusing in on doing fuller arms. There are not a lot of form notes for jumping jacks, but as with most things, core engagement, still a good thing to do. You know, we're moving all of our limbs in different directions, and having that core engaged provides a nice centering point so that even as I'm moving my arms and legs out, they know where they need to come back to, okay? So basically, even when I don't tell you to engage your core, I'm probably telling you to engage your core. All right, my friends, give me some cross jacks. Just some little cross jacks right now. We are in the last 30 seconds of this timer. Let's finish out with the squats with the knee raise. So really going for power, panache, going for speed if that's where you are today. Whew. Really trying to push ourselves up with as much power as we can give that leg, pulling that knee up with us. All right, just 10 seconds left, so don't slow down. Nice dramatic breaths, exhales as you stand. We are so close and done. All right, good job, my friends. Dang, that has all been very good stuff. We are going to do one last thing. We're going to do a cardio tabata, one final cardio tabata, and it's going to be flaming scarlets. Oh man, which we have done during Rocktober, but they were mixed with another exercise. So this will be the first time that we've done them just as their own thing in a while. So getting ready for that, because that adds a new layer of intensity when we don't have anything else that we can combine them with. So remembering arms in a V for victory, and we're just jumping back and forth, one foot to the other, bringing those knees up above the crease in the hips, okay? And going for speed and going for power. So we were just doing those squats with the knee raise. This is just the logical conclusion, right? This is where this all was heading. All right, my friends, so this is our final cardio tabata. So let's head back to our mats. I'm gonna get that timer going. Just 8 repetitions, and then we'll close out with some calf awareness to really recenter ourselves. So that was not the sound that means go. That is the sound that means get ready. Feet together, arms in that V, and we are up. So you may not yet be somewhere where you can get those knees up that high, okay? The main thing I want you to focus on is getting your knees up as high as you can. And when you notice them starting to sag down, trying to get that control back, okay? So I don't want you to be content with just trotting the whole time. When you notice that, all right, I'm gonna start trying to pull my knees back up. And really, I want them to get as high as they can, preferably above the crease in the hips. May depend on injury states or flexibility, but that is our goal, okay? Always what we're working towards. And keeping our arms in that V, elbows straight. We're not letting them sag down, turn into a U shape. We're not letting the arms, sink forward into a Vita position. They are here. Yeah, we're not doing a Vita. We're doing Natalie Portman in V for Vendetta, okay? Two wildly different cultural touchstones, of which you may have varying degrees of familiarity. But nice V shape, and we are holding it the whole time, okay? So as we keep going through our rounds of this exercise. Check in. How are your knees doing? Are you still able to pull them up? One way you can test if your knees are getting up above the crease in the hips is just bring your elbows to your sides and hold your hands parallel to the ground. And then just do the knee raises, and they should be slapping into your hands each time, and that's how you know you're lifting them high enough, okay? So that's a way for you to test where your knee height is right now. So if that's something that you're like, I'm not actually sure where I am in this position, a good way to test it, a good way to get a better understanding of the spatial positioning of your limbs. You know, I was talking to someone, a friend of mine recently, who had been doing a mindfulness workshop, and somebody talked about how they were so disconnected from their body that when they were asked to imagine, you know, another living entity that they felt safe with in a physical context, they had to picture themselves completely alone. That was the only way that they felt safe. And they just felt completely disconnected from their body. And it's something that so many of us struggle with. And right now, in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of, you know, an attempted coup by the Republican Party, a lot of us can be feeling a lot of disconnect, you know? And one of the best things that we can do to start to recenter ourselves is to bring our awareness back into our body. When I bring my arm out here, where is it in space and how does it feel? When I'm lifting my knees up like this, how does that feel? You know, Western culture has way too much emphasis on brain and body being two separate entities, and they're not. They're not. And so the more work that we can do to center ourselves in both of these places, the better off we'll be, all right? And look at that. Holy cow, my friends, you just made it through all of class. You kicked ass is what you did. And now we're gonna do some quick calf awareness, just as a nice way to wind down. So when the timer goes off, we're gonna start just balancing flat on one foot. So as soon as you hear that horn, you will start to balance flat on one foot. Any adjustments that you need to make to maintain the balance should be coming only from the foot and the ankle, which can be really intense. So what is the starting place? I bet you can guess. The starting place is identifying and engaging all of the stabilizing muscle groups. So we start with our core. That brings our torso into alignment, so it's one piece. Our glute on the working leg helps to pull that all together, coming down into the leg, where then our quads are the final piece of that puzzle. So basically everything above my knee, from my knee up, is one solid piece. So by the time we get down to the ankle, it's not working with a myriad of different movable parts. It's working with one cohesive piece, and that is a lot easier to manage. All right, switching to the other side, same thing. All right, so again, check in. It's really easy when we transition from side to side to lose that connection to the stabilizing muscle groups. And I do it too, honestly. I will switch sides and then 5 or 10 seconds later go, why does this feel so much harder? Oh, wait, I didn't actually connect all those other components back in to this process. So what you start with each time we transition is, hey, where are my stabilizing muscle groups? Have I actually engaged them? I have? Cool. This probably feels a lot easier now. All right, when the timer goes off again, we switch back to our first side, but now we are balancing just on the ball of the foot, okay? So we're lifting the heel up as high as we can. All right, so here we go. we are trying, again, to do all the micro adjustments from the foot and ankle, recognizing, however, that this is a much more difficult balance. You will probably come in and out of it a bunch. When you feel like you need to come out of it, when you feel like you are about to fall out, instead of, I'm falling out, try as best as you can to control the lower of the heel and then reset back up and go again, okay? So even as we start feeling, all right, the loss of balance is getting a little bit more than I can compensate for, you still want to try to control that descent. All right, other side, same thing. You will probably notice that one side is better at this balance than the other. That is totally normal. And it's good information for you to know about yourself. And the thing is too, just because one side is usually better at the balance than the other does not mean that that is always going to be your experience. Some days, both my right and left sides are feeling really solid on the balance. Some days, my left side, which generally is my more stable side, will just feel like it's falling out of position every 2 seconds. Some days I'm like, ooh, my right side really feels like it's pulled itself together. So have the understanding, but know that things can change. Back to that first side, come up on the ball, then rock back on the foot. Up on the ball, back on the foot. And we're just going back and forth from the ball of the foot to the heel, okay? Still balancing just on that one leg, up and up and up and up. Again, check in on those stabilizing muscle groups. The second that I engaged my core just then, that whole process got easier. So make sure that your core is engaged, particularly. Your quads can't help but engage because now we're in a more active movement. So the quads are involved anyway. The glutes are not permanently involved because of the way that we're moving the hips back and forth. But the core, again, should be really engaged so that it maintains control over the torso and so that we are able to minimize the number of moving parts, basically. All right, that's our goal. We want to minimize unexpected movement. Obviously, there's plenty of expected movement in this because we're going up on the ball and then back on the foot, and that is fine. But what we don't want is to come up on the ball and then have our torso fall behind us, right? So we are minimizing unexpected movement so that we can just focus in on what the foot is trying to do. All right, when the timer goes off, our final position, rocking back onto both heels, and we're just keeping those toes off the floor until the final horn goes off. So we're gonna try and hold the balance as long as we can, and then if we feel we need to, we can move around a little bit on our hips. We can move, resettle, balance again. My core is doing a lot of work here. You do not have to stay in a fully upright position. All right, so I definitely will settle in, let my butt come a little bit backwards. It may go forwards, but I am not trying to hold myself in one stiff piece. All right, 10 seconds left. Try and hold that balance as much as you can. Feet are not coming down on the floor until you hear that final horn. Huzzah. Whew. And then you feel your shins go, oh my God, thank you for releasing us. So just let yourself roll over the top of those toes, stretch out the top of the foot. You'll feel the stretch go up into the shins, and it's just a nice counter to the type of flexion that we were just doing. All right. Good grief. All right, my friends. Well, that was class. What a good class. Oh, I need some water, and I haven't been working nearly as hard as you have, so make sure you are drinking your water. Yay! I'm glad that you joined in on your day off. And emptied your water jug from the fridge. Good. Yes, having a jug in the fridge is useful. And yep. bring that jug into the living room. It's doing nobody any good in the fridge there. You will absolutely move through all that water either during class or after it as well. And again, we are not always the best at hydrating ourselves, so it's good to take some time and really try and hydrate. Hi, friends. That was a good class. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. It was really fun for me to get to dig a little bit into more basic level instruction, which I feel like I haven't done a ton of over the last month because we were, focusing on ramping. But I hope that you enjoyed this class, a little bit more focus on form and foundational stuff, which is my jam. So I always laugh. I always enjoy when I get to do that. And I hope this was a good midweek pick-me-up. That's the thing that I do love about this class, and it's why I put the cardio class on Wednesday, because even, now that normal is a completely different beast than it was, Wednesday is still the middle of the work week for many of us, and it still has this sort of resonance of, we're terribly equidistant from the beginning and the end of the week, and feeling that stress. So having a cardio class, as contradictory as it may seem, can actually really reinvigorate us and give us some awesome energy to go through the rest of the week with. So I very much hope that it did that for you. And hey, if you're not able to join in live regularly, that's what the VODs are for, and that's the beauty of doing class like this, is if you miss the live cast, you can always go check out the VOD, so you never have to actually miss class, which is very nice. Speaking of class, we've got 2 more this week. We've got Functional Home Fitness, the class where we do weight training using objects you can find around the house. That's on Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And then Saturday morning at 9 a.m. is the weekend kickoff, which is our strength and stamina focused bodyweight class. So awesome classes. I particularly love the weekend kickoff for similar reasons to why I love today's cardio class. It's just a really awesome way to reinvigorate energy and sort of send me into the weekend, feeling excited and pumped to do whatever it is that I'm going to do. So I hope that you will join for a couple of those. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of those handles will be in my end cards, but they're all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel is Blanche Case Fitness. That's where I upload the VODs from these streams, and there's going to be a lot more content going up there over the course of the next few months. So definitely subscribe. Yay! I'll see you on Friday. Woohoo! If you want to help support me financially in continuing to make these streams, I do have a coffee account, Blanche Case Fitness. Donations are always very much appreciated. And if you want to help keep building this community, moving us towards Twitch affiliate, then please do follow this channel. Tell your friends, tell your loved ones, coworkers, frenemies, anybody looking for a good at-home workout. You know, we're heading into the winter months, and we're also in the middle of massive, awful spikes in the COVID-19 pandemic. And, you know, I want everyone to be safe. And right now, safe probably looks like not venturing into a gym. And I know for a lot of us that's hard. But that's why we have these classes, so that we can build out a structure that allows us to keep working on our fitness, that allows us to keep moving our bodies, taking care of our health, even when we can't do the activities we would normally do. So I love that you're taking these classes. I can't wait to see you again. Finish those waters. Have a great dinner for yourself, nice shower, all that fun stuff. And I will see you back here again on Friday. Mwah. Have a great night.